Hello everyone and welcome to round 15 of the ARL F1 2012 Season 6 Championship. It's the Indian Grand Prix. We're racing around the Buddha International Circuit today. I'm Matthew Gallagher and joining me once again in the commentary box, it's Scott Woodwis.
Thank you very much, Matty. Good afternoon, everybody. And of course, we are here in India at a circuit which is not too dissimilar to that of the previous round in Korea. The long, fast straights in Sector 1, the tight and twisty Sector 2, and then the simple and straightforward Sector 3. 30 laps away at the drivers today, over 150 kilometres. And this race, not really been interesting in real life, but of course with the ARL boys here today, that could all change.
It could all change, Scott, and this promises to be a great race. What with a very long DRS straight, so it's going to promote a lot of overtaking into Turn 4. And with that tricky middle sector as well, it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers cope. Season 5 podium, Noble didn't take the victory, MoNsTeR did, with Noble in second and TRL MoNsTeR third. Noble took the pole position last season. Let's see what it was like this season.
The qualifying comparison this week sees xMattyG and Mazy CZ on screen around the very tricky Indian circuit, filled with plenty of bumps and crests as well as blind corners to make hitting the perfect lap near impossible as they go through turn 1 and simple 90-degree right hand before swinging left for turn 2 with then uphill braking for the tightest corner on track, which is turn 3. Very important to maximise the run out of here as the drivers now find themselves going down the longest straight the circuit has to offer, climbing up to the rev limiter in 7th gear along what will be the DRS activation point under racing conditions. All of the curves for both drivers being used down this one straight before slamming on the brakes for the biggest stop the circuit has to offer. Very bumpy braking zone, important to stay nice and wide on the entry and then take a late apex to avoid the worst of the bumps and to also get a good run down to the end of the first sector split, which they'll be crossing now, and the two drivers on screen separated by a mere 0.003 of a second as they enter the second sector, starting off with this double left-hander, slowing all the time through the middle to ensure you make it through the little left-right without cutting the track. Now the difficult right-left chicane, of which you can't see the second apex until you're through the heart of the corner. It's the Toros of xMattyG getting a little unsettled over the crest, forcing him to ease off the power to avoid a potential lap running incident. Now through the very long right-hander, running as wide as they dare through the middle of the corner to open up this second apex as much as possible to help get a good run to the end of the second sector, and the split time show that's still almost nothing between them. Matty just 400ths ahead as they now come through this section of track. Mazy missing the apex slightly through there, costing him a lot of time as they now enter the penultimate corner. No problems for either driver, it appears, through there as they now come towards the final corner, which we see Matty diving towards the apex where it looks to work in his favour compared to Mazy's wider entry and later apex driving, which means as they cross the line, xMattyG comes out on top by just shy of half a second in the end, but they still line up on the grid next to each other in 4th and 5th places. Now back to Matty and Scott to run you through the full qualifying classifications.
Thank you very much, Harry Jacks, for that qualifying comparison. Now let's take a look at the Season 6 Indian Grand Prix qualifying grid. It is Noble on pole, this time on options rather than primes, taking it by over a quarter of a second from TRL MoNsTeR in the Sauber. Ricky C once again showing his premise in qualifying in the Caterham with 3rd, ahead of xMattyG, who is actually contending with MoNsTeR for that second place in the championship. He will start P4. Mazy CZ starts P5, potentially his best qualifying of the season in the Force India, alongside big shot player in the Williams. Fisi in P7 in the Marussia, with Crookie a little bit off the pace in the second Sauber in P8. The first of the prime tyre runners, SE Racing Team and the Williams, starts alongside LC Speed Demon in the second Caterham, with Rhino 83 back on form in 11th and the Continents in 12th, both also on the prime tyre. Trace B92 starts 13th and ACR Jordan 14th, with both drivers not setting a time. And as for Randy McScrady and HyperX Callum, they are our two non-starters today. There's the grid. Now let's head to the Season 6 Indian Grand Prix.
It's race time. It's round 15. It's the Indian Grand Prix. We have no rain. It's overcast weather today. It's xMattyG and RapidScorpion commentating. And this is going to be a good race. Let's hope there's no collisions into turn 1 and turn 4, Scott.
Fingers crossed also. And also Noble could clinch the championship today. He needs 6 points to seal it for Season 6. We've got plenty of drivers on the grid, of course, waiting for 30 laps here at India. Let's get ready for those famous 5 red lights.
And we've got 2 of them already. We've now got 3. We're getting ready for the Indian Grand Prix, and the lights are out, and away we go. xMattyG in 4th place, straight up into Rich, and getting a little bit of a run on Ricky C, is he not? Going into turn 1 now. It looks like Noble's holding the lead, and xMattyG going up the inside of Ricky C, up into 3rd place already. So him, after a poor qualifying performance from xMattyG, up into 3rd already.
Most definitely into this very treacherous turn 3 as Mazy almost hits the back of Ricky, and there's Big Shot with a fantastic start. He's already up into P4 as they head down this very long back straight. For the first time, Ricky C and Big Shot side by side, neither of them giving an inch. On board with xMattyG down the back straight, now on board with Ryan now, as he's looking at the back of SE Racing Team as the another Caterham Williams battle goes on. And now back with Mazy up under the brakes and always hits the back of Ricky as Big Shot locked up as well. Frantic start, but thankfully Matty all clean. As we see there, he's wondering who Posh 267 is. That is LC Speed Demon. He's racing under a different gamer tag today. But as they head to sector 2 for the first time, Mazy, Matty, a clean first lap so far.
Yeah, it's good to see from the F1 boys. Absolutely no collisions whatsoever as far as I'm aware. So these guys have got through unscathed. It looks like MoNsTER's lagging a little bit and he's gone wide now. So he's lost a position to xMattyG and Ricky C. So MoNsTER having a lag spike of some kind and losing 2 positions, which is going to be crucial for him because xMattyG and Limitless, MoNsTER even, I'm still getting used to his name change, they're fighting for second in the championship as it looks like Mazy's gone wide and Fisi trying to get around the outside has now lost a position to LC, or Posh Tundra as he's now called, and they're getting very close indeed and Mazy losing the back end and both of them being spun, so it's not lap 1 with no incidents at all, Scott.
No, I think we spoke too soon. I think it's not completely clean, but I think what would the F1 race be without a clean first lap? We've got cars going every which way in the back. I think that was Jordan and somebody else. But back to the front, and Noble, of course, in prime position to seal the Season 6 Championship today. And here's the start once again. So Noble with a pretty clean start, as you'd expect, into Rich Mix 3 already. And then straight away into Turn 1, and just covers off MoNsTER nicely. And not even running wide at all, as watch behind. And then also looking back, this is the view from Ricky as we saw Matty slip past up the inside of Turn 1. This is now on board with Fisi, as we see here Big Shot with a huge lunge up the inside of Mazy, and Fisi trying to go around the outside, but he gets blocked up by Mazy and Crookie. And this is now looking with the other Marussia of Ryan, as he was almost boxed in by SE and Posh. And then we had Jordan trying to go up his inside as well. This is up at Turn 3 again, and that was, who's that? That's Big Shot coming up the inside of Ricky, and that was then those two went side to side down the back straight. And this is the end result. Of course, they still went there, and eventually Ricky managed to get his nose in front. So like we said, it was entirely clean until we got to the end of the first lap.
Yeah, it was a nice move by Ricky there, round the outside of Big Shot into Turn 4, and this is the incident we have now on board with Mazy, getting a little bit of a touch from the, on his right rear tyre, which sends him spinning round, and LC, and I'm hearing in my ear that both of the Ferraris had to pit after getting caught up in that incident, so both of the Ferrari drivers must have driven straight into the carnage that had unfolded, and Ryan taking 2 positions and up into 9th after qualifying 11th. So I'm sure he'll be reasonably happy with that on the prime tyres. And we're now cutting to Ricky C in 3rd place following xMattyG going into Turn 4. Looks like xMattyG is running a little bit wide. And Ricky C, is he going to get past xMattyG? He is, and he's up into 2nd now. So Matty is now only, well, it's got MoNsTER, his championships, or 2nd place in the championship rival, half a second behind him. And Ricky taking advantage of the Toro Rosso driver's mistake.
And a great performance so far by Ricky. He's been getting stronger and stronger throughout the season. He really is starting to show his true colours. Now he gets the final few races of the season as Matty goes again wide as that very high-speed chicane section. Now we're on board with Fisi down in P7, but trying to chase after Crookie, who himself is trying to steal P5. And I can't see exactly who he's trying to battle, but it could potentially maybe be one. It's not Ricky C. It's I couldn't see exactly who that is, but we'll probably find out in a moment if Fisi can catch up. But right now as they head down towards the end of lap 2, I'm saying it's actually Big Shot in fact who was battling, I've been told on my ears, thank you for that. So it's Crookie and Big Shot battling over P4, and now we look back, this is a brief look at his teammate Ryan, and now back with Mazy xMattyG as now they come down towards Turn 1 for the beginning of lap 3, and MoNsTER closing back up after his mistake as Noble sets the fastest lap of the race, but then wouldn't really expect anything less from Noble, would you, out in front?
No, you wouldn't at all. So Noble pushing on to win his 4th championship. I forget how many he's won, but it's a ridiculous amount anyway. Or maybe his 3rd. It is 4. I'm hearing 4. So yeah, 4 championships in a row for Noble. If he can finish the race today, he only has to finish 8th, and that's with MoNsTER or Matty winning the race. So it's looking pretty sealed for him out in front. But we're now coming back towards 10th place with Mazy, who's about to become 9th. He's on the option tyres, so you would expect him to be ahead of Ryan, because with the yellow striped and the prime tyres, it's a 2 compound difference if I'm not mistaken. So the prime tyres are quite a bit slower than the options, but Ryan coming back with the use of KERS, I think that's a very popular strategy, is for people who are going to be falling prey to the DRS down the straight. They save their KERS for the run out of Turn 4 and regaining the position a little bit like I think in real life with Lewis Hamilton, I think, and when he got caught up with Massa a few years ago, if you remember that, Scott.
I do indeed. That was a rather messy affair, one of many incidents involving Lewis and Felipe that year. and of course those two weren't really bosom chums, and they all happened in the space of quite a few races, so that was certainly a story of that season. But there's a good point, of course, that KERS can be used for defending as much as attacking, so there's definitely some strategy play that comes into it when you're using your KERS. You can use it for blocking, you can use it for overtaking, so it has a kind of a two-way use there. I was going to use another term used by a certain Ryan Littlemore, but I won't stoop to that level, unfortunately. No offence, Ryan. But now we're watching Fisi, as he makes a bit of a mistake on exit of turn 1, and that's switching back to Matty's locking up, but he's come under huge pressure from MoNsTeR here, Matty.
Yeah, here we go. MoNsTER's going to get DRS. It's going to be crucial to see if Matty gets DRS on Ricky C ahead of him. Let's have a look. He hasn't, so now MoNsTER's going to go flying past him, which he does indeed. So MoNsTER getting ahead of xMattyG, and he's already ahead of Matty in the championship, and he's going to extend his lead if the result stays the same, but I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of battling to go as MoNsTER now loses the back end out of turn 4. Matty now going up the inside towards this very tricky section. A double left-hander coming up here, so Matty's going to probably get back into third. He does indeed, but he runs wide a little bit, so is MoNsTER going to come back at him? Just about stops MoNsTER from getting through, and whilst these two are battling, Ricky's getting further and further away and looking very good for a solid performance here, and you never know, he may well even catch up to Noble. We will see, as we're now seeing a replay of Mazy going past Ryan, and looks like Ryan's going to come back at Mazy again. Yeah, he is. This is lap 4, and appears like these two are battling quite hard, as we now cut back to xMattyG, who looks like there's who is that? Was that McLaren? Or was that another Sauber? Is that Crookie? I can't quite see at the moment. But MoNsTER going up the inside into turn 1. They're battling quite hard, but you know, Matty should probably maybe have let MoNsTER go through there, because he would have got DRS on the long straight. But he's decided to defend, and we're now going to see if both is it Sauber? I can't really see there, Scott. I
think it is the second Sauber Crookie, so looks like it's a two-pronged attack here from Sauber on xMattyG here, as we lose connection to ACR Jordan. So obviously the terrible start for the Ferraris gets worse as Jordan's out of the race after just 4 and a bit laps, as we come down to the braking zone of turn 4, and Matty just holding on from MoNsTER. Of course, Crookie sloshed in behind his teammate here as they head down to this very tricky section. And this first sequence of corners here in sector 2 very tricky, because the first part is fairly quick, but it tightens up here in the second part of this going to the chicane section. And the second part's much faster, so you can definitely put your foot down. There's not too much of a problem here as you sweep through. He's got someone running wide. I think that is actually Crookie running wide. And Big Shot with a move around the outside and almost making it stick. So that was pretty brave stuff from Big Shot, but he's always doing the switch back on the exit. Can he get it done? They're going to be side by side. He just puts Crookie onto the AstroTurf, and Big Shot has to back out of it. And as a result, Fisi has a look up the inside, but can't quite get the job done as they enter sector 3. So brilliant racing so far. Not usually something that we see in India in real life, but back with Ricky C, and look at this, he's closing in that gap on championship leader Noble 2909. This is a superb drive so far from Ricky. We know he's a great driver and a great qualifier, but he really is on another level here in India. Yeah, but catching Noble, that's not something we've said much this season. So Ricky C actually mounting a challenge for the victory at the moment. He sets the fastest lap of a 30 flat. He is absolutely flying. I'm not too sure if Noble's just trying to save his tyres or fuel at the moment, but I'm sure Noble will not want Ricky C in his DRS. And it looks like he was very close to getting that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Ricky, who obviously hasn't won a race yet this season, as the Toro Rosso drivers have locked it out the whole season, astonishingly, and mainly due to Noble. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Ricky mounts a challenge, because he's got nothing to lose, whereas Noble, although he's very much winning the championship, he's still going to have it, you know, in the back of his mind as Crookie running Big Shot out of road, and maybe a little bit of contact. Yes, there is. Crookie's having to give the position back to Big Shot, which means Fisi up into 5th place now. So I was just going to comment on Fisi's driving as we've now moved to xMattyG. He's upshifting, as you can see here, Matty coming through these sequence of corners in 3rd gear, whereas Fisi decided to stay in 4th for quite a few corners. I'm not too sure if he's just trying to keep the traction under the car, or just to save the car and the tyres. But it's very interesting to see, because he's not getting the acceleration that really would be gaining him quite a bit of time, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he starts to push towards the end of the stint. Quite possibly. There's also the possibility that he's gone for more of an aggressive fuel strategy, because of course if you do that, means you run less fuel, means you have to be more conservative, short shifting, not running on the rev limiter as much, so you have to be really cautious. As now we've switched to the battle for the lead, and Ricky really is putting Noble under a lot of pressure, forced him wide here. This could be a chance for Ricky to take the lead here at the Indian Grand Prix in the slipstream down towards the beginning of sector 2. Noble's leaving the door open, but I don't think there's going to be that enough room for there's not really a catering sized hole there for Ricky to squeeze through. So Noble holding firm as they head through the second part, and Ricky is giving Noble the big hurry up through this section. up towards the very long right-hand here. It's a very front-limited circuit, more than rear-limited. Lots of these very fast sweeping corners. And I think really, this is apart from his teammate, this is one of the only times that Noble's been challenged for the race lead at some point when he's been out in front. So I'm sure either Noble won't know what to do here, or this will be a nice welcome challenge. Yes, Noble's all over the place again. Ricky is really giving Noble all sorts of headaches here. There's a little bit of a slide from the rear of that cage to show you just how hard Ricky's pushing. We could be on for a fantastic race here in India, Matty.
Yes, we could indeed, and it's double DRS as well, so Ricky is going to be right on the back of Noble coming towards turn 1. Is he going to take the lead? There's 2 detection points, so it's probably not a good idea to take the lead now, and he's decided against it, which is a good move from him. He's going to get DRS out of turn 3 as well, so we may well see a change for the lead here as xMattyG sets the fastest lap, so he wants a piece of the action. As you can see, these two battling quite hard, but here we go. Ricky C using, is he going to use all of his curves? He's used half, he's running through the whole battery, and it looks like Ricky C with the use of DRS may well go on the inside here. Here he goes into turn 4. Is he going to spot his braking point? Ricky C takes the lead. Noble going to the outside. Ricky looking up slightly, running wide now, so Noble's probably going to take the lead, and he does again. So Ricky C getting a little bit overexcited there, Scott.
He was, but you can't blame him for trying, of course. He's trying to challenge the championship leader. As we said, Ricky's got nothing to lose. He's out there just for fun and try and grab as many points as he can in these last few races and possibly try and impress for Season 7. And of course, I'm pretty sure we'll switch to F1 2013 by that point. But how awesome would it be if Ricky could get himself a victory in the final race of the season just to round off what's been some fantastic racing on F1 2012, using some of the outside curb there through that long right hand. There's been a leverage to get him round the rest of the corner as Mazy goes right over the curbs. A little bit too keen there from the Czech driver in that Force India, and just almost made him unstuck there as they come back towards the battle for the lead. Still fighting tooth and nail, hammer and tongs, or whatever else you want to compare, as they head onto the pit straight to begin lap 9 of 30. Already a third of the way through the race. Doesn't seem like it, but ready, here he comes now. Noble defending to the inside, but it might not be enough as Ricky's going to try and break him down the outside towards turn 1. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. But can he get the tracks on the exit towards turn 2, up towards turn 3? I think he can. Noble might get him back up the inside. We go on board. No, he's done the smart thing, is to get behind Ricky, get himself DRS, and do exactly what Ricky did a lap ago. He's drained that entire battery of curves up to Rich Mix 3. He's pulling out all the stops to get past. We now switch to Fisi fan, battling with Big Shot and Crookie over P5.
Yeah, there's battles going all the way down the field at the moment, and this is the one we want to concentrate on. It's Noble going up the inside again into turn 4. These two battling hard, but Noble's actually locked up, and he's gone very wide indeed. And Ricky C has taken the lead, and he's got over a second, surely, after that mistake from Noble. A very uncharacteristic mistake from him. And Ricky leads the race, which is a great sight to see for him. And I'm sure it's going to be very interesting to see how well he copes leading a race. But as you can see on the mini-map, it looks like the top 4 have actually closed up a lot. So it may well be a 4-way horse for the race. I went there, RARL X360 style, as we just looked at him from Fisi fans' point of view, as Fisi runs very wide indeed from 7th place. But we've now got a replay, these two going side by side through turn 1. Brilliant racing, no contact made, but also very good racing from Noble and good racecraft from him. But then he lost it into turn 4 and locked his brakes, and Ricky finds himself in the lead.
I can't believe you went there with the 3-way horse there, right? Right, Matty, I can't believe you did that. Anyway,
I am.
I don't know. I'm getting pretty confused. That's how much of an effect it's had. Saw some battles there with Big Shot and also with Crookie, and I think one of the Force in the Rouge is Fisi fan as well. And there was the move again from Ricky's point of view. He took the lead. Now we're back with xMattyG. There's his teammate and Ricky C just in front of him. So you were right there, Matty. They have closed up, and MoNsTeR's not too far away either. So this is a fantastic 4-way scrap. I'll use that term instead for this battle for the lead. And now lap times to come through 1:29.966. So again, xMattyG moves the bars. MoNsTeR pits in to make his stops. He's going to go onto the prime tyres, I'm pretty sure, for the next 20 odd laps. And the Sabre boys go to work. I'm expecting a quick pit stop again. 2.9, yes, these guys keeping on the regular with these 2.9 pit stops, maybe a little bit quicker if they can manage it. And let's see where MoNsTeR will slot out. Who come back out just, I think, in P10, just ahead of LC Speed Demon, who of course is running the Posh Tundra game tag again. As Fisi fan clouts the bollard on the inside of turn 3. Doesn't compromise him too much, but turns to compromising himself. That's Mazy running deep, and I think that'll be easy pickings for MoNsTeR. No, it isn't, because Mazy just comes back and shuts the door on the exit of turn 3 and says, I know you come out of the pits, but I think I'll keep this 9th place, thank you.
Yeah, he had such a great run out of turn 3 because he'd run so wide. MoNsTeR thought he had the move done, and in fact he didn't, and Mazy's actually kept the position, which means that MoNsTeR trying to do the undercut, which I don't think is very effective around this track, to be honest. What with the different compound difference between the tyres, it really does take a few laps for these prime tyres to warm up and really get into the groove. So it's going to be interesting to see where the top three now pits, because I mean I don't think MoNsTER's really going to be mounting a challenge for the next few laps, as I said, with the temperature of the tyres and things. So they could push the option stint a little bit further, and to make sure that by the end of the race their tyres don't run out of life, as we've got xMattyG now coming to the pits and almost losing the back end, drifting Gymkhana style into the pit lane. And so no, he's pitted now, so it's going to, I'm guessing Noble and Ricky will be looking to pit as well, just to cover them off, because as you can see, the tyres are starting to go off on the tyre indicators. xMattyG changing to the prime tyres, as you can see, very cold indeed, even though they've just come out the blankets, as Mazy CZ also comes into the pits. We've got Fisi, we've got Big Shot as well, so lots of action in the pit lane, Scott.
Hive of activity here in pit lane. Of course, the Marussia boys go to work on Fisi fan, and he gets out, as also so do Force India with... Oh, there's a delay on the right rear! Delay on the right rear there, and that's terrible stuff for Mazy. His luck's going from bad to worse, and that's rare we see that mistakes on the pit crews today, so that was harsh luck there from the Force India guys. Definitely wasn't intentional, but back with xMattyG, of course, now on those hard prime tyres, of course, with the silver stripes on them, silver markings. Now with Noble, who's closed back up on Ricky C now. Oh, Ricky with a huge mistake! Huge slide on the exit of that chicane. And how Ricky kept that on the track without spinning is beyond me. But Ricky now is now in exactly the same position. The hunter has become the hunted, because Ricky is now having to defend off all sorts of pressure here from Noble, and we know Noble is a very good driver when it comes to putting drivers under pressure. He's done it time and time again with the likes of MoNsTER and of course his teammates, so we'll see exactly what he can do with Ricky in this situation. Ricky's never had to really defend from a lead here, apart from the few laps ago, and looks like they're both coming together, so this battle on the track is going to be a battle in the pit lane, Matty.
Oh,
and mistake! Mistake! Oh, that's incredible. They're literally going to go side by side, but how's that going to work when Matty goes to pit in? With Noble. Oh, that was very, very close, and obviously a bit of collision detection had to step in there and just let them come through, and Noble's actually beating him out. So that little bit of a cheeky passing move on the inside there just got him out in front.
Yeah, I was wincing a little bit when they were going side by side into the pit lane, because you know that sometimes this game can throw all sorts of things your way, so I'm surprised that those two didn't explode or something, because that's usually what happens in that sort of scenario. But yeah, Noble and Ricky come out unscathed, and oh my gosh, Big Shot doesn't come out unscathed as he goes straight into the wall. It's not something you usually used to see, as MoNsTER going past xMattyG with DRS, so xMattyG back down into a net 4th place. So MoNsTER's going to try and make his move, as he's pitted a lap earlier than xMattyG, so maybe his tyres are a little bit more in the groove than the Toro Rosso driver, but xMattyG using the rest of his KERS and putting it down to lean fuel mixture, so going to save a little bit of fuel in this very tricky section. As you can see, the 2 leaders out just ahead, but Matty running a little bit wide and getting a bit of dirt on his tyres. MoNsTER getting a tiny bit of a gap, and now xMattyG losing the back end, so now MoNsTER's going to be pushing very hard. Matty up into rich fuel mixture as well, so he's going to try and close that gap back down to a second, but that's going to be a bit of an ask, considering MoNsTER looks like he's pushing in that Sauber and trying to get on the back of this Caterham driver, Ricky C.
Not sure what was going on there with Big Shot. He just pulled off the side and kind of said, "After you, Mazy." So I'm not sure what he's doing, and he's making a pit stop for a cup of tea. I'm not sure what he's up to. But moving forwards, we've now got on board with Rhino. Effectively, he's in 2nd place on the road, probably as high as he'll ever get in this league. But chasing after SE Racing Team. So SE Racing, of course, leading the race for Williams, but of course these guys have not pitted yet. These guys started on the prime compound tyres, as MoNsTER pumps their 29.7 on that prime compound tyre course, and the undercut seems to have worked. But here's this replay. Just talk us through this, Matty. This is just, you clench your teeth in this, don't you? You really do.
It's scary. It's really scary. And this is on board with Ricky's point of view. So he's lost the back end a little bit. Don't think he was expecting Noble to be there. And he's looking over thinking, what is going to happen here? The Toro Rosso pits his first, and thankfully we haven't just had our race ruined, otherwise that could have been catastrophic, and that could have been the thing that, you know, maybe have opened up the championship a tiny bit. I mean, Noble only has to score another 6 points, but you never know, he could have had bad fortune in the next few races as well. It would have been absolutely awful, because Noble has deserved this championship through and through, but That could have been very interesting indeed, and we could have only had a two-way horse for the victory. Yep, Ryan 83 again, I'm very sorry. But we've now actually cut to a battle down the field. This is Mazy and Posh Tundra, which is LC Speed Demon. And I know LC is fighting to stay in this league. He's very much in the relegation battle. I'm not too sure where Mazy is at the moment, but I think he's a little bit safer as he loses the back end a little bit and loses touch with LC slightly. And we now come on board with LC's teammate, Ricky C, who has DRS on Noble, so we may well look and, see another fight for, well, what is net first place with SC Racing Team actually out in first, who is yet to pit. As Ricky C sets a 29.5 now to take the fastest lap away from MoNsTeR, but MoNsTeR only 1.6 seconds back, Noble lagging slightly, and we're now coming to the DRS detection point, and Ricky C going to pump all of his curves out, I'm assuming. He's put it into rich fuel mixture, so here we go. It's going to be a change for the lead, I'm pretty sure. Look at the closing, it's closing in with the Caterham now going up the inside of Noble into the, well, net lead. I'm going to say third place now, but it is a net lead, and Ricky, look at this, the amount of car lengths that he had actually pulled away, but not very confident on the brakes there, Scott.
No, he wasn't. Oh, Ricky actually is hesitating on the exit, and that just, Noble just sails back past him. I'm pretty sure that must have been with the use of curves there, but Noble straight back through, but he's gone too deep into this very tricky second sector, and Noble and Ricky, these two almost control. It's like an eight-wheeled car almost, because they're literally either that or Ricky's giving him a bump draft with that section. Not sure what he's doing, but these two literally are nose to tail. He's shoved that nose of that Caterham underneath the gearbox. As there's one Caterham loses another place, so there's another one. As now Speed Demon, of course, as we said, running the Posh Tundra gamer tag, now under attack from Mazy as he puts it in standard mix 2. And remember we were talking about earlier the undercut that MoNsTeR was trying to gain. It seemed to work because I think it only really gets compromised if you go into that second sector, because mainly in sector 2, the circuit's not exactly very wide. It's very wide down the back straight into the first sector. Then the second sector, of course, is very tight and twisty, very narrow as well. So if you get stuck behind traffic in there, that is where you're going to lose all of your time. So really, you want to try and get yourself as much clear air as possible, and the undercut can work. And in MoNsTER's case, it certainly has. So it definitely has been an advantage for him to pit slightly earlier. We saw that because effectively he was able to get past xMattyG down the back straight, exit turn 3, with thankfully with the help of getting into the DRS zone, and of course with the undercut getting his tyres up to temperature. Now that looks to me that's Ryan pitting off exit stage right to make his pit stop, and indeed it is. These guys back into now still the net lead, but they're up to second and third on the road. So SC Racing going a long way, possibly I would have thought at least probably until maybe lap 20 or so, to do 10 laps on the options as Ryan hits the stops and the boys go to work. On go those option compound tyres, 13 laps on those. I'll be pretty intrigued to see how he can manage those. And there, as Ryan exits, Fisi sweeps past, and so now both of the two Mauritius are now running line astern.
They are indeed, and we're now cut to the fight. We haven't seen Trace Me 92 this entire race, but he's now getting overtaken and losing that one single points paying position. And Mazy cutting the corner slightly there, but I think he had the move done before the corner, so I don't think there's going to be anything about that. But yeah, so we've got these guys fighting for 2 and 1 point respectively, and it looks like Mazy will have DRS on LC Speed Demon, Posh Tundra. And I think he probably will fly past him, to be honest, with the DRS straight being so long. And here we go, we're on board with Mazy now, going up the inside of LC Speed Demon and braking quite early, I have to say, into turn 4, but he's made the move stick. And is LC going to come back with a bit of curves? Here he goes in the Caterham, they're going to go side by side into turn 5. This is going to be interesting. I think he's going to have to back out, and he just about does, but Mazy runs wide and LC up the inside now. Beautiful move from LC, takes advantage of Mazy making that mistake, and these guys are having a great battle. Trace lacking pace because he's on the Xbox controller rather than the pad, and xMattyG into the 28s now.
Some great pace being shown, of course, on these prime tyres. Now with Ryan, of course, he's on the faster options, so see how much progress he can make. First target is his teammate. Careful, boys, don't try and take yourselves out, as Fisi locks that inside front, and big shot out of the race. Apparently he's destroyed his vehicle. Apparently I was hearing in my ear earlier on, he pulled it over to let Mazy pass, because apparently he'd spun and broken his front wing. So, when speaking of spins, Ryan just about saves it at the back end of that Mauritius going around, and he's now lost several car lengths now to Fisi, even though he's trying to drain all of his curves to get back with him. Back to this fight for 9th and 10th between LC and Mazy. Was there a bit of a lag bubble there, because I saw LC went a bit deep into turn 3.
Yeah, I think there was there, Scott, to be honest. I think
there was, yeah, so definitely so. So now with DRS now, and in fact now Mazy's got in front, he got himself DRS and says, see you LC, I will now push forward and see what I can do. But if he can get himself around the corner without outbraking himself, yes, he can. So I think maybe Mazy, of course, will argue about the lag bubble. If there was a bit of a contact on scrape, I think there was, because there goes LC. I think he feels that there was a bit of a lag bubble, and that obviously LC will feel hard done by Spook. That's quite courteous driving there from Mazy to then back past.
Yeah, that's fair driving from Mazy. Well played. I actually thought he was going to drive away, what with using DRS and all of his curves down the straight. Maybe he then sort of had a little bit of an epiphany and thought, actually, no, I did take him out. So well played to Mazy. Otherwise, I think he may well have seen himself in the stewards as Crookie sets the fastest lap of a 28.4. We're now back on board with Mazy. Going to take the 9th place back once again from LC into turn 1. But not particularly wise move, because LC is going to have DRS down the massive straight. I think the drivers really should be saving fuel in that first DRS zone and then doing what Ryan's doing right now and going past Fisi, his teammate, for 7th place. These guys are still fighting pretty hard despite Ryan being on the faster tyre. There's no team orders as far as I'm aware. Fisi actually, he's using his curves now, or just a tiny bit. He's in rich fuel mixture, so he's by no means hanging around. And maybe he can actually stay within the DRS of Ryan, even though he is on the faster tyre. So it's going to be tricky for Fisi to stay within there, because Ryan, as you can see, look at the amount of speed he's able to take through those corners compared to Fisi. And we're now back on board once again with the battle for 9th place. These two are not giving up on these very crucial points. And Mazy, who is I guess he makes quite a few mistakes each race. He's got the pace, but he just doesn't seem to have the consistency. And speaking of consistency, Noble in front, he's Mr. Consistent, and Ricky, he's doing a good job in 2nd place, and it looks like xMattyG's fallen a little bit behind, as we saw a few laps ago him making a mistake and falling away from MoNsTeR, so he's well and truly out of DRS. So these three are going to have a DRS train for the rest of the race, and it's going to be very difficult for the Toro Rosso driver to have an impression on MoNsTeR, especially with the battle for 2nd.
Be difficult for them, but be absolutely fascinating to watch, as we now have the braking duel down towards turn 4. So of course 1, 2, 3, so close you can almost throw a blanket over them. As here comes Ricky to the outside down towards turn 5. Noble getting defensive. How's this going to play out? It goes just like this. Noble just going to put his car in the middle of the track to make it as wide as possible. That is one wide Toro Rosso, and Ricky trying this way and that to try and get past, but Noble's not going to give way. I think the phrase is, to coin a Lord of the Rings term, you shall not pass. And indeed he won't, as they head through the very long right-hander, almost like a double apex right-hander through here, and MoNsTeR just about staying within touching distance. And now we quickly fast forward back through to lap 21. So of course not too many battles going on, but of course we're anticipating something in just a moment. The very fast sweeps of turns 7, 8 and 9 and 10, and now towards the very long corner of turn 11. And how's this going to play out here? Taking almost identical lines. Oh, and Noble very wide on the AstroTurf on the exit of the corner through there. Now through turns 12 and 13. And then I think it's actually that was 13 and 14. This is now turn 15, because the last corner is turn 16. And let's see how this plays out now. MoNsTeR still can't get close. In fact, they're all within 1 second, of course, as we said. So this very long DRS train, as we said, set to go all the ways to finish.
Yes, it is indeed. As we now got Ricky C with DRS. He sets a 28.9. Almost his fastest lap of the race, and yeah, very wisely does not go past Noble into turn 1, but he's going to have DRS for the next part, and I think Ricky's going to be taking the lead. I think these guys are going to be thinking, what am I going to do on lap 29 and 30, because I think these guys are pretty much inseparable for the rest of the race unless someone can get away, and I'm thinking Noble's going to be that person, if anyone. But here we go, Ricky C using all of his curves and can use DRS as well. Looks like he's under pressure from MoNsTeR, as you can see from the arrow, but MoNsTeR not close enough. Noble doesn't have DRS, and is Ricky going to go up the inside? No, he isn't. Is Noble going to make the corner just about? And good driving from Noble. He managed to just about spot his braking point with Ricky all over the back of him. And we're now coming towards this very tricky middle sector, which is especially tricky following a car with all of the understeer that you get from the dirty air, as Mazy, with no dirty air, still manages to understeer off the track. And LC, I think he'll have DRS as well, so LC may well pull quite a bit of a gap to Mazy. But we're back on board with the race leader now, Noble, who is under a lot of pressure from Ricky, and MoNsTeR sitting back and maybe saving a bit of fuel. And it seems like xMattyG still not being able to make an impression on the top 3, as Ricky all sliding through that very difficult corner. And we're coming up to DRS once again, Scott.
We are indeed set to have this DRS train set up all once again, down towards the final corner. Noble spots the apex nicely, as does Ricky as well. I'm sure MoNsTeR did too, couldn't see in the rearview mirror, but once again with DRS closing in on Noble, of course, who has completely clean air in front of him. And under brakes for turn 1. And you see MoNsTER, you see the arrow there, that's how much MoNsTER closes up under braking into Rich Mix 3. As we now switch now to the battle between the two Marushas, they're still fighting it out between each other, as now Ryan is now a sitting duck to Fisi. And through he goes. So the two Marushas switch places. And I'm sure Fisi will now start to pull away as Ryan is not exactly on the same pace. Back to the battle for the lead though. Here comes Ricky back to the inside, side by side down towards turn 4. And Ricky, does he outbrake us? A bit of contact, I think, but Ricky's got his nose in front just about. So that was a gutsy move there from the Irishman. And now the two Marushas are going at it once again. There goes Ryan to the inside of Fisi. So Ryan says, anything you can do, I can do so much better down the back, straight down on the brakes towards turn 4. So not only is there battle for the lead, there's also a bit of a two-way horse. Sorry, I had to go there because it was Ryan. Two-way horse going on between the two Marushas.
There is indeed. Ryan just does not ever leave these commentaries, does he, despite retiring from the job. But yeah, I think Fisi's done a great job to be able to actually keep with Fisi's done a really good job to keep with Ryan, because Ryan's on his option tyres, and that's a replay, a bit of lag from Ricky C, so that's not good to see. Hopefully that does not continue for the next 6 laps. We shall see. But we're now following Ricky C in the car of Noble 299. Seems like, yeah, there is a bit of lag. Ricky's run wide, then he's reappeared in front of him. Oh no, we're not going to see some lag, are we? Hopefully this is not going to ruin what is promising to be an epic last few laps of the race. Noble's still got DRS, so he's still going to keep in touch with Ricky, but this looks like it's a bit ominous. Oh, and yeah. Oh no, and now Noble's getting completely distracted from Ricky lagging, and now MoNsTER's gone up into second, so... Oh, and MoNsTER's now got the barbecue out, so there's all sorts of glitches and lags happening now, Scott.
I'm pretty sure Noble's saying, MoNsTER, this is not the time for pork sausages. Anyway, but there's a championship to win, and you know, processed meats, this is not the time for it. And the two Marushas still going side by side, still can't resolve their battle as to who's better. At the moment, well, Ryan's having to lose out. He's gone wide through turn 5, and Fisi says, yeah, I'm the better one. So at the moment, I'm sure Ryan will have something to say about that. As once again we go back to the smoke screen that is TRL MoNsTER in front of Noble here. And of course, Noble, of course, he just has to finish. Just has to finish, and of course he'll get himself enough points, I'm pretty sure, to wrap up this championship. And Ricky is just holding himself in front for the moment, but can he stay there? Is it possible that he can hold on for his first ever ARL League victory here in India? Oh no, he's gone! Oh no, the lag was too much. And Ricky has gone completely, he's disconnected. And this now means it is going to be a fight for the lead now between MoNsTER and Noble. And that is heartbreaking. He was about 5 laps away from his first victory. You can't help but feel sorry for him. That was such a cruel piece of luck for Ricky.
That was awful for Ricky. I mean, I know that he'd sort of lagged his way a little bit into that lead, but he was well and truly on the pace of the top 3, and he still had a shout of winning before his lag started to kick in. So now Ricky has unfortunately left the race, which has promoted xMattyG up into 3rd, and MoNsTER and Noble will be fighting it out for the victory. And it's going to be very interesting to see how MoNsTER copes, because MoNsTER still hasn't won a race either, so there might be a bit of nerves kicking in as the Sauber driver is currently leading, and Noble, who has won countless races this season, you know, he knows how to win, and he's got the racecraft to know exactly when to overtake. So MoNsTER's going to have a job to win this race, because the Toro Rosso driver is going to want to win the championship in style by winning this race. As we now cut to both of the Marussia drivers, as Ryan now slides out onto the grass, just about managing to keep 6th place. Fisi still, I think Fisi's going to be looking like the better driver to win to win this battle and to finish 6th, because he's going to have a lot fresher tyres than Ryan, who pitted on lap 17, I think. As we've now cut to Noble, who's lost DRS.
He has. Instead, he's getting a face for the smoke at the moment from MoNsTER. Of course, that engine glitch. If you're watching for the first time, it's a glitch that because these guys do like to, when they're downshift, to put it on the rev limiter, and as a result, it's a bit of a glitch that you can't technically blow your engine as a result of that. So of course, there's still the graphic in there, so you can race along and look so everything's fine. So his engine is blowing up, but everything's fine in reality. Perfect example there. And we like to joke a bit, called the Sauber barbecue. So he's got some pork chops sizzling away on the back of that Ferrari engine. And it's 2 Ferrari engines going into combat down towards turn 4 as Noble went to the outside. Oh, lovely switchback move through turn 4. traction on the exit. In fact, look, of course, Noble still lost DRS, but of course he didn't effectively need it because he was head down towards turns 4 and 5, stayed with him, and a beautiful move as once again the Marushas switching places. Ryan back up the inside of Fisi. Fisi's having none of it, trying to go down the outside, and in a carbon copy move of that between MoNsTeR and Noble, Fisi does the switch back and back into P6. So these are the two main battles, and back with Noble, of course, he's now got a 1.1 second advantage. Even without DRS, he's managed to pull out quite a nice gap, and looks as though that he's on his way to sealing up the Season 6 Championship in style by claiming the Indian Grand Prix all for his own, Matty. Yeah,
well, I think there may well be a little bit of error. There might be a bit of an error with the timings. I don't think it is 1.1 seconds. As you can see, MoNsTeR is definitely not 1.1 seconds back, so I'm not too sure what's going on with the timings there, but MoNsTER's definitely going to have DRS. And it's going to be interesting to see when Noble's DRS fixes, if MoNsTER can get past here. And here he goes, the Sauber driver up the inside into turn 4. Is he going to go? Noble going defensive. No, he's just about managed to outbrake the Sauber driver and maintain first position. So those two battling hard for this victory round India. And so are these two. The Mauritius are still battling. And Ryan goes past, and he's going to have DRS as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if... Well, I think Fisi's got a lot more fuel than Ryan, so maybe Fisi's just trying to save a little bit of fuel towards the end of the race, although he is in fast, but he has got +1 lap of fuel with 3 laps remaining, so he may well be the quicker driver towards the end of the race, as Noble looks like he's got a bit more of a gap this time, and xMattyG very close behind actually now. As you can see, the Toro Rosso driver just going through turn 1 now. We've got a nice camera angle courtesy of Tracy92, I believe. And we've now, oh look, and MoNsTER locking up into turn 3. And he's going to get DRS once again. Noble using all of his KERS. Is he out of turn 3? Yes, he is. And he still hasn't got DRS fixed. Saving a little bit of KERS maybe for the exit of turn 4. And here goes MoNsTER back into the lead.
And also we've got a great battle developing, which unfortunately we can't show you, between Crookie and SE. So it's Sauber and the Williams battling over P4, but unfortunately we don't have footage of that. But we can continue with this battle here as the two cars once again for the lead on lap 28 of 30, going side by side down towards turn 5. And again, the fantastic camera view there as a bit of dirt goes onto Noble's tyres, and again using all the track and a little bit more. And this is Matty's view now, and he's really closing up onto these two. It's his turn to get a face full of pork sausages and pork chops from MoNsTER here with the Sauber barbecue, and Matty's really giving it. So this could be a fantastic photo finish. Another 3-way duel. I'm not going to say Ryan's term again because that's been overused. That's it, 3-way duel for this lead. That's a great. Also, just that curve that Noble just clipped there. You have to be very careful there, because if you take too much of it, of course, that could throw the car sideways. And of course, in this stage of the race, that's exactly what you don't need. On to the penultimate lap, and the two Marushas are still going at it. I think we're hardly surprised at that one, because these two have been battling for about the last 15 laps or so, if maybe a little bit less than that, but still going on. This time it's going to be Fisi's turn to get KERS. It's almost like after you, no after you, no after you Fisi, no after you Ryan. It's kind of just like one after the other, just switching places. Either they're just doing this for the team photo, so they're just having some fun out there for P6 and 7. Ryan can sense that Fisi's coming. It goes defensive right to the inside of the track, and Fisi, even with DRS, couldn't get himself alongside, forcing Ryan to go too deep into the corner, which he does, and back into P6 he goes. But I suspect that with the rate these two are switching places, that won't stay like that. That order won't stay as it is for much longer, Matty.
No, well, there's only 1 lap to go, so it can only change a few more times, I'm sure. And I think I just noticed before we cut to that battle was the race deciding factor is that Noble has +2 laps of fuel. So he is going to be able to run fast the entire rest of the race, and he's going to be flying. As you can see, MoNsTER's finding it very tricky indeed to keep with the championship leader. 1.4 seconds, I don't think it is that far. I think it's a little bit closer than that, but I'm not too sure. Is MoNsTER going to get DRS on the final lap? It's lap 30 of 30, and Noble has just got to really defend on this long straight. Have we seen an arrow? We do, so maybe MoNsTER is going to get DRS. Noble's going to have to use all of his KERS out of this corner and maybe save maybe a tiny bit out of turn 4. Is he going to save any? No, he isn't. He's taking no chances. Here we go. Is MoNsTER going to get anywhere near going into turn 4? It doesn't look like it. Has he saved any of his KERS? I don't think he will have, because he was quite far behind. Noble's just going to have to defend now. He's going to get on the power. Nice. And he's using fast as well. He's still got +1 lap of fuel, so he's easy peasy to get to the end. MoNsTER nowhere near, so now Noble just going to keep on the racing line, and he's going to take a victory and also the championship.
It is indeed. It's been a long season, of course, and of course Noble has been the dominant force. We've had victories, of course, for xMattyG and the like, but really Toro Rosso, what can you say about that? They've put on a stellar season, and now Ryan and Fisi are still battling on P6. but down through the final couple of the corners. It's been a fantastic season 6, and of course the other teams have tried and unfortunately failed. And I'll let you call the coronation if you like, Massey, because we are one corner away from crowning a champion.
And here we go, Noble299 even purple through the middle sector as well. So is he going to take the fastest lap, the race victory and the championship all at once? Here we go, Noble299 wiggles over the line, takes the championship, takes the victory. MoNsTeR coming home in second, xMattyG, Noble's teammate in third. And it looks like Fisi fans going to win the Battle of the Mauritius this time round, as MoNsTeR actually stole Noble's fastest lap right at the end. I think Noble would have got the fastest lap had he not wiggled over the line. But anyway, I'm sure he's not going to care too much. Fisi coming over the line for 6th. Ryan just missing out despite being on the option tyres, which is very surprising indeed. So Fisi probably the faster teammate this weekend. Mazy coming home in a very solid 8th position, beating LC Speed Demon for 9th. But Noble299, the championship victor.
He is indeed, and he has every right to be absolutely ecstatic at that one. He's worked so hard all season long, and he's finally got his just rewards, and that's a great job. So I have to say, of course, a massive congratulations to Noble, and of course everyone at Toro Rosso for sealing up that Drivers' Championship, because I think you can't deny, Matty, he certainly has put in the legwork, and he's, the saying goes, you put in the effort, you get the results, he certainly has got it.
Yes, and Noble299 took the victory by half a second from xMattyG in third, F1 X360 in fourth, SE Racing Team about 3 seconds back from a 4th position. A great result from him though for 5th. Fisi Fan beating his teammate for 6th, with Mazy CZ coming home in 8th. The Continents in the first Ferrari in 9th place, with LC Speed Demon coming home for 1 single points paying position. TraceMe92 finishing in 11th place, missing out on points because he was racing on a pad. Ricky C unfortunately disconnecting. Big Shot losing his wheels in a barrier somewhere, with ACR Jordan being disqualified. Randy McScrandy and iPro's Callum both did not start. And yeah, Noble299, you know, you have to bet money on him to win if there's a fight for first at the end of the race.
You do, and I think it's a very huge warning shot he's put out for season 7 when we move to F1 2013, because he's shown that he's so competitive. Look at the gap he has, of course. He has a gap of 101 points. So of course effectively he doesn't need to turn up for the final few races, he can just let MoNsTeR and Matty fight it out, because there is a 6-point gap between the two of them for second place in the championship. And also the battle for the relegation zone, Ryan, that's crucial points for him today. He's managed to pull out a 6-point advantage over Speed Demon, with Callum and Jordan not scoring either. So effectively that Jordan effectively, unfortunately, unless he can pull out a miracle result, is unfortunately I think relegated for now. Callum could do something if he can jump Speed Demon if he turns up for the next couple of races, but Ryan, that result may possibly could have given a bit of breathing space in the final few races there, Matty.
Good indeed. It's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out for the next few races. We've only got a few left, I'm afraid, but I'm sure Season 7 is going to provide just as much as excitement as we've seen over the past 15 races. As you can see, the Constructors' Championship is well and truly wrapped up for Toro Rosso. And have we got any battles going on? I think it was for 3rd, 4th and 5th there. We'll see how that pans out for the rest of the season. But the next race is next week. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's going to be very interesting indeed to see how that pans out, with Noble already wrapping up the championship. Will he help his teammate try and secure 2nd? We will find out. But thank you very much, Scott Woodward, for commentating with me. Not a problem. Pleasure as always. Catch you guys in Abu Dhabi. We will catch you in Abu Dhabi. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.